Ambassador of Israel, Boaz Rodkin, welcome to Finland.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
And especially for TV7, thank you for taking time for this interview.
Thank you.
So what have been your first impressions about Finland?
Right, so I'm here for 5 weeks now. I've arrived middle of August, and so far I've been meeting a lot of people, of course presenting my credentials to President Stubb early September, and so far my impressions are very good. Meeting a lot of people, realizing that Israel has many friends here in Israel, and that encourages me very much.
Right. So before coming to Finland, where did you come from?
Right.
What positions have you had in your diplomatic career?
Right. So I'm coming now from headquarters in Jerusalem. I was dealing with European affairs, but before that I was ambassador in the Western Balkans to Albania and Bosnia and Herzegovina. I started my career as a junior diplomat in Mexico City, in Mexico, and I also served in Dublin, in Ireland.
Mm. And now in Finland.
Yes.
Wonderful to have you here. So being a diplomat in the midst of war.
Yeah, a very complicated reality indeed. Our country is in a war that lasts nearly a year now. This is the longest war in our history, to be honest, since 1948, since the establishment of the State of Israel. A very harsh war in which we have sadly many casualties. The attack by Hamas terrorists and others on the 7th of October was a brutal attack, a barbaric one, if I should say, on our societies, on our communities. People were shaken, houses were burnt, people were killed alive, children, entire families, and 251 of citizens were kidnapped, hijacked to the Gaza Strip. So this is a reality that we've never endured in the past, and this is the reality that we are facing since last year, since October last year. And within this background, of course, we have to represent our country, and we're doing it proudly, because we believe that Israel is there forever. This is the home of the Jewish people, and then, of course, if Israel is under attack, we go out and defend ourselves. So we do it on the battlefield, we do it as diplomats as well.
Mm. The international focus has moved from Gaza, not left Gaza, but has moved or widened from Gaza to the northern border, to Lebanon. What's going out there?
Yeah, so, the war in Gaza still continues, but it's true that on the 8th of October, so one day after the Hamas and Islamic Jihad terrorist attack on the Gaza Strip, Hezbollah, which is a proxy of Iran, started launching an attack on Israel, on the northern border of Israel with Lebanon. This is an attack, again, on communities, on civilians. Some people were killed there, and we have sadly about 80,000 refugees, those people who live in those communities, in the small towns on the northern border, that cannot live there anymore because it is not secure for them. School year has opened the 1st of September in the entire country, but not over there, because of course it's unsafe for people, for parents to send their children there, and the war is still going on. Again, Israel has been attacked since the 7th of October last year from 7 fronts, mostly by Iranian proxies. So in the north, this is Hezbollah, an Iranian-backed terrorist organization.
Tell me about those 80,000 refugees within Israel. Where are they?
So some of them are staying in hotels, some of them stay in relatives, some kibbutz members have moved to live with other kibbutz members, other communities further south, and mostly those who actually are there are mostly farmers that go in morning time just to cultivate the fields, but then they have to return back to their families further south around the Sea of Galilee and other regions in the Galilee, but but it's too dangerous for them to be on the border because they are being targeted on a daily basis from Hezbollah.
How large is geographically the area from where they have escaped?
Yeah, so it's about between 10 and 15 kilometers south of the northern border.
So what has been the volume of Hezbollah rockets and what they have fired from there?
Yeah, so again, sometimes it's on a daily basis. They're launching rockets, they're launching missiles, launching a UAV that explode on our communities. And I'm sure you recall an attack, a direct attack on children on a Druze village playing football on a weekend, going in the afternoon to play football. And sadly 12 children of this village died from a direct hit by Hezbollah on the school ground. So sometimes it's more extensive, sometimes it's less extensive, but again, nearly on a daily basis we are being attacked from Lebanon, from Hezbollah, and naturally we will have to return fire, and we do so.
What can you say about the pager operation or walkie-talkie operations in Lebanon?
Yeah, well, not much, but again, one should recall that Hezbollah is a terrorist organization, designated as a terrorist organization by the EU, by US and others. So again, all those people who were holding these pagers were Hezbollah elements, Hezbollah members. Again, so all of them terrorists.
Let's talk about the United Nations General Assembly vote on Wednesday, September 18th. And for us, as Finnish friends of Israel, it's very disturbing. But what is your reaction and your government's reaction to that vote?
Yeah, we were disappointed that Finland voted in favor of this resolution. Many other EU member states voted against it or abstained. We would expect a different vote from Finland diplomats. This is a distorted version of reality in the Middle East. The resolution does not refer to the right of Israel to exist, does not refer to current situation in the Middle East as it is. It actually is a move by the Palestinians try to isolate Israel and try to punish it for being out on a war of defense, defending our citizens. This is why we expected friends and all over the world, but indeed here in Finland, also at least to abstain this resolution, let alone to oppose it. Some regional countries here, for example, Sweden and Germany, have decided to abstain on this resolution. We expected the Finnish government to do the same.
All right. I have this resolution paper, 8 pages, which is too long to read out here.
Yeah.
But what is your key findings about the distorting the situation in this paper?
Yeah. So again, there's no mention of our hostages in the Gaza Strip. Not a mention of Israel's right to defend itself, to defend its citizen. And again, if you read this resolution, you see that those people who will benefit from such a resolution passed would be the terrorist organizations and would be Iran and its proxies, being happy that such a resolution is passed with the majority vote of the international community.
But it also tells Israel to remove from the West Bank, from Judea and Samaria and East Jerusalem within next 12 months.
Yeah. So
are you going to leave?
We're not going to leave. This is, again, trying to dictate on Israel the terms of future arrangements. In the past, all peaceful arrangements that we have with our neighbors have reached through direct negotiations. Only through direct negotiations we would be able to reach a normalization with our neighbors. We did that in the past, in the 1970s, with Egypt. We did it later with Jordan and with other Arab states. This is the only way to resolve crisis and to resolve conflict in the Middle East. Only through direct negotiations, never through dictating a paper or resolution, a UN resolution, dictating on Israel what it should be doing. So again, this resolution is very, very much detached from reality.
One of the lines in this resolutions demands Israel to return the lands and institutions in the Palestinian territories to Palestinians, but they never, at least as I understand, they never owned any land or institutions in the area.
Yeah, that's correct. Before 1967, if you go back to history, before 1967, the countries that were controlling Judea and Samaria and the Gaza Strip were Jordan and Egypt, respectively. So, and then we went out for a defensive war in 1967. That was the 6 Days War. And now these regions are now, some people would say, that are in dispute. Again, such a dispute one resolves through direct negotiations. There was never an independent Palestinian state on this region. It's true that the region was called Palestine in the times of the British Mandate, after the First World War until 1948, and until the decision to create two states, a Jewish state and an Arab state, but then they have to live side by side in peace and security, something that we lack nowadays. Sadly, there's no peace and no security for Israel.
Finally, what would you like to say to our viewers at TV7, those Finnish Christians who love Israel?
Yeah, I've met some of the Finnish Christians who love Israel in several events and also in my office. And so we draw very much, quite a lot of encouragement from that. We see that, I know that they are all across the country, in north and south and east and west, very many groups that support Israel. We thank them very much, and we actually need them. So please continue the good job that you do. This is our message.
Thank you, Ambassador of Israel, Boaz Rodkin, for your visit in our show. Thank you very much.
Thank you.